Why bother making a video? I guess because you guys that are on the good side, you're asleep. You're asleep. And there are so many. You don't believe. There is some crazy shit going on. You got these people trying to make superhumans. I mean, they're not even human. Like, how could they be a superhuman? You know what? There's so many people that are the good people on the good side that keep their head buried because they just work and have family and just can't believe. Can't believe that how evil people can be, and or whatever these are. They're not. Yeah, they're people. They're bred with us somehow, but they don't even know the whole story because it was cut out of the Bible. When they wrote it, they knew what it was, but they basically Genesis 6. These fallen angels. Just because God's out there doesn't mean that He makes. If He did, everything's free will. If it wasn't free will, it wouldn't be the point, right? Think about it. Even the devil's got free will. He's choosing to try to, because he's different than you and I. He's pretty powerful and he can do all this stuff, and he's got a huge, giant ego, and he really thinks he can, because he's in a different world than you. You and I have no even inkling that we could defeat God, and we don't care to, because I think everybody that I know that's on my side, and the majority of us are He created us in His image. That doesn't mean we look just like Him. That means we have goodness. We don't feel like it's important to go out there and kill everybody because that makes you're stronger. Well, no, we don't do that. We're actually stronger because we don't have to do that. These all the way back from the WW2, the big one, big WW2. They've been trying to prove it that, and the guy, their leader, what a wimpy little shriveled up, shrunk, can't even grow a good mustache, and yet they buy into it because, the whole group of them, one's fat, one's cross-eyed, and they're a superior race. Give me a break. But they're nuts, man. And they are so nuts that they're running this world now. And we, normies, or whatever you want to use, whatever way, we're so freaking kind-hearted that when they come up with this goofy crap they do all the time of, you gotta wear a mask. We don't laugh at them and go, you fucking idiot. What are you talking about? We've had these bugs forever. We get over them. Maybe you don't. We do. Go back into your nap, go back into your cave, whatever the crawl you came in, and get away from us. But no. Most everybody I know doesn't give a rat's flying ass about controlling the rest of the world. Who would want to? You want to live your life and you can't even control your family correctly. It's tough in this world. We were put here, whatever reason, maybe to just see if we could make it. It's a physical world. These aliens you see that they're fixing to tell you are smarter than everybody else. Well, the only reason they're smarter, they live forever. But I wonder how smart they'd be if they only lived 100 years maximum, like we do. Probably not very smart. Because they had to live a long time and see everything, see the earth created before they could figure out everything. They can't just sit and enjoy life. No. They got to run everybody else's life. And that's what they're trying to do. New world order, reset. Just leave the hell thing. And look at the ugly ass. Look at every one of them are just ugly and stupid looking. I can't think of Gordy Rose about the only one that looks halfway decent, and he's an insane maniac. They're all not even control freaks. They're psychopathic sociopaths that, I guess because they're so damn weak, they think they got to control everybody. Think about it. Would you have such a desire? And they didn't invent all that shit. They didn't invent all that D-Wave computer and all that. They didn't do it. They're making out like they did when they feel like they did and they think they did. Even that Facebook, which is like a little dirtbag Zuckerberger, he didn't come up with none of that. Some other Jesuit did that tried to wrestle him from him. He couldn't because he got so much power behind him. And it's so deep. You couldn't, if most of the people, if you have not been keeping up with this for 20 years, how are you going to know today? How are you going to catch up? How are you going to survive this crap? When they tell you you've got this flu bug and you have to have, what do you think they're going to poke in your arm? These people are nuts, or not, whatever they are. Their agenda is nothing like what you have believe. And you got a lot of people. Somehow, I don't know how in the heck it survived that there's a lot of people on the internet that can get your message out to you, but you don't know who to look for. You don't know who to weed out. All you know is that these guys that paid to read and that look pretty have the brain of a ant fart can't even tell you anything real. They don't know anything real, and you're supposed to. They don't tell you all. It's just constant lies after lies, and you do not know which way to turn. So the only thing you can do, period, if you haven't been keeping up with this for 20 years, fortunately there was some of us that are kind of interested in it. I don't know why. I guess I am lucky, whatever. Unlucky or unlucky, I always for a long time. Seems like. I wrote an editorial in the heart of Texas when I was like 13. They edited my editorial and turned it around backwards. I had actually complained about somebody getting elected in office, and that was my complaint. And I'm going, you know what? Are you going to do something like this? You get so many people, and you're going to. Why do you need to go out and do graft? You don't get paid enough. What do you want out of it? I was pissed because I just couldn't see somebody getting elected in office and then try to steal everything. And it was probably nothing today, but it pissed me off. And I'm thinking, well, you keep this up, no wonder people complain about the Vietnam War. We can't trust you people. They're not people. And they took that out. Made me to sound like, well, he shouldn't be grafting, it's not good. They're pointless. I'm telling you, you learn, and yet, so from that point on, I kind of I can't write them things. I just sit back and listen, because they get control of the paper. I don't. A little bitty editorial on this. So what are they doing with everything else? Yeah, they're lying to you day in and day. Everything you hear practically. I can't think of much you don't hear that's not a lie. I mean, there's a few, but they're cut out, like Dobbs and Carlson. But they're, and you consider that right wing? No, barely. If And you don't even know, that's the thing is, you don't even know if it's a psyop. Because these people get off on tricking you. And they're not people, I'm going to tell you, you can believe it that there's not the devil. And that's to your own detriment. Oh, that's silly. Or, there's no, he's not, yeah. Well, I don't know why he's such an evil bastard. Why? He's got his own free will, so he thinks he's going to defeat the guy that created this whole thing. Well, thank goodness that, and I don't know why, but I've always had a friend in Christ, so I don't know why he stuck with me. Maybe it's to give you this message, because he wants to save most. He really loves people. Like I've put this message before, because he's like his own children. You're not even your parents' children in your soul. You're actually created by him. And you can believe it or not believe. That's your problem. Anything I'm telling you is just a message he's given me. Because I don't know anything. But I'm telling you, if you don't pay attention closely to what's in between the lines, not what they're telling you, you ain't gonna last. They literally wrote on stone that they wanted the Earth population down to 500 million people. Do you know how many there are on Earth right now? So apparently there's the Earth has a lot of stuff that we don't know. Why do we care about it? We know we're here to live physically and enjoy life. It got screwed up by Diablo. I don't know whether he wants his own children there, which he did. That's what Genesis was about. Him or 200 of these angels, which have their own free will, like I'm telling you. Genesis 6, a short little blurb. They came down and, if you put it in my terms, raped a bunch of women that took them for their own, because the daughters of men, because that they were comely, and they wanted their own children. They wanted to take over Earth for themselves. So most of you don't even really know that's what the whole story behind this. And then so finally, God, who created the Earth, or for man, and he, it's probably not even the first time he's done this. So he doesn't even have to. If somebody lives forever, they don't have to. He could have practiced a bunch. And who knows? But however he did it, he made it where we physically live here. And you can go question, oh, your frequency and you're this and you're that. It don't matter. It doesn't matter. What matters is he let you live here to enjoy physically feeling and touching and tasting and loving and your own children of your own genes. And he let you steward some of his next generation, which could look like you or act like. But it's a great gift. It's fun to do. And they're going to screw up. You're going to screw up. And you only got one chance that we know of. Even if we did have more than one chance, it would not be something you're going to, and it probably is just one chance of you. I mean, technically, yeah, maybe you'll come back the next one. Who knows? Maybe you'll come back as a goose. I don't know. I don't think they have the same soul, but he gave mankind a soul, but he created these other ones, like the dogs. They're on their way up. The next time, who knows? It's the endless time. Which is, we don't, you got to think about time the way God thinks about time. He made time because we partake in it. And if he created like these dogs, are just like, they're not wolf, they're a dog. They're created for us to enjoy, to be our companion, right? I'm just using this for an example. So maybe the next time they come back, you don't know. But all of this stuff is not what you're supposed to worry about or change or manipulate or take over. You're supposed to live it. And then you do a good job. Maybe you get a next time around. Maybe you don't have to go backwards and be somebody's dog. You'll never know. It won't matter anyway. And it's just he has control over that. If he wanted you to know it, he'd let you know. He would let you know it, right? And I hear a few messages. So one thing I heard is, he said, "Go be fruitful and multiply the earth." And but there's two things that are going on in the Bible. The Old Testament, I think a lot of it was hijacked by Satan and made all these laws and, killed all the people and, they had sacrifice. And it may not even happen, but it may be, it was written down because they thought it was God. They thought it was their creator. How would they know any different? They don't know any different. But it comes a time when it's the end times, and then our creator, the good guy, he says, look here, I'm going to have everybody alive that was ever alive for this 2,000-year period or whatever it is, which would be about 9 billion people or something. Because people died and, So, if these Ted Turner goofballs and all them think that overpopulation is a problem, it's not their problem. Who in the world why do they think they're so smart that they're going to rub out? No, they don't even realize who's telling them that, because I think Diablo doesn't want as many souls saved. He wants to steal as many as he can. Anyway, they could be screwing up. It could be everybody that's being born again is for Judgment Day. Something, I don't know. I just kind of heard that. Maybe that's the case. Which means maybe you did live again, and maybe even but you wouldn't know it. You're not supposed to know it. You're not even supposed to know the astrology and stuff. Maybe I use it for the seasons and the time and the planning, but that's for another life. Your life is to make the best of this one. And we have all this knowledge and we need all this. Yeah, where do you think it's coming from? All these things that they're creating, they're really good for us because we live. Everybody could live like a king, but no, they're taking our life. They're taking our time. Like you have 100 years on earth, let's say, just roundabout. And let's just pretend these are people. This guy over here, he is taking your time that you could be spending with your children or whatever is scuba diving in Caribbean and looking at some of the unbelievable, they're taking your time away from you because that's your money. Why do they? Why do they need so much money? Because they're weak. Yeah, we like money. We like to make money. We like the challenge. But you know what? It's not the main thing. It's the main thing with those individuals. So, back to the point. I mean, some of this guy over here, he's telling you, you're working tomorrow, you're going to give me half your pay. You got it? And if you don't, Guido here, he's going to break your legs. And it ain't going to feel good. It might make a compound fracture if you do it again. You know. So this sorry bastard who is your political leader now, because none of them could tell the truth if they wanted to. I know there are very few of them, and you know that. And the ones that could have no power. They have no power to do anything. Every one of them, was it Ross Perot and anything? Yeah, you can look back through history, or Kennedy, and he who stood up against these criminals, corruption. Yeah, they kill him. Reagan, who tried to stand up, well, we shot him once. We showed him, he shut up, right? I think that's. You can believe it or not believe it, but that's just the way it is. So anyway, I don't know why I bother making this other than it's not me that cares for you, it's your creator. And I'm no mouthpiece, I bet. He did, he's done a lot for me, and I'm thankful. I'm really unbelievably thankful that. So if I'm supposed to tell you these truths, I'm telling you, that's and I'm happy to tell you, but it ain't easy, and it isn't kind, because we good humans have been letting it fall through the cracks for so long. I don't know. It's funny. We can get out of it easy because we must be a lot stronger than they have to create genetically to get these superhumans. And they believe this Aryan race, for instance, that was so. It's just like there is parts of the Bible where it's true, like Cain and Abel. Cain, so he's strong, thinks he's stronger, better, and wiser and smarter because he can kill. Yeah, maybe if they did, but what point is that? Was that what we were here for? I don't think so. If it is, fine. We'll fight and see who wins, and die trying. Fine. We've been doing that our whole life, but I ain't no one to care about doing it for somebody else. Somebody attacks me, yeah, I want to fight, or my family, and yeah, I'd rather just soon fight as eat at that case, because ain't nothing any more important at that point in time. But I'm not going out looking out to kill somebody. That's the difference. And if you don't see that, you're in a world of hurt. And I guess the point of my saying this is not me that's saying it, it's your creator. And a lot of you that seem to be nice people don't even believe he exists. You don't even believe that the Bible means anything. He killed, well, that wasn't even really him, I don't think. You have to study it, know it, and listen to some people to understand what was going on. He got hijacked, the Bible got hijacked. Yeah, you say, well, he wouldn't have left it in there. Is it for him to take care of you and hold your hand and not, you got to do something on your own. You're here on you got to do for yourself. How many books do you have like the Bible? None. And was it the book of instructions for before leaving Earth. So, okay, I don't know if we have to read it constantly, but we do need to spend it with some people that right now you can get a lot of it on the internet, and you need to discern and understand who's telling you the truth and who's not. And first of all, there's no politicians that you need to listen to. There's no media you need to listen to. You take Amon Bundy, who's not, he's a good guy. Well, yeah, I just saw him the other day. He's talking about making groups of clubs of men and women that men like you call, and if you need help, somebody's attacking you. Oh, that's a great idea, right? But he's a good guy. But he's not going to take his crap laying down. He knows that this country was the only one, historically, we feel it in our gut, right? Hollywood, our actors, those people are so shallow and hollow, you could pop them with a pen. They're just nothing but air. And they just flate on the floor. Because there's nothing to them. They think they have act and they pretend like they really have a good ego too. But they're all part of it, and they don't even know how much they've literally sold their soul for their fame. That means they'll be famous in this one little lifetime. What about after that? What isn't all that Bible and everything else talks about eternal life? Which means eternal life. And maybe you have eternal death. But you're eternal, but your death you won't know. You'll never come out of it. Because you're not worth the good Lord bringing you out of it. You'll still be floating around out there, but you'll never come out of it and get to do something like this. Live on earth. Have a loved one. Have his children. Have a dog. Ride a horse. Whatever it is you'd like to do. Because you didn't do what he asked you to. He asked you, and maybe it is a challenge. And I don't know. If I was really dumb, but I maybe I wouldn't understand it at all. And but no, most of the people that the people who are down to, they're not evil people, right? They're not naturally evil. They don't just go out and kill people, but they don't, they're just had something happen to them. But the point is, they're not evil. Most people, I don't think but they at some point in time they can become evil, and they sell their soul to evil, and then they got fame and fortune on this earth. Which is, everybody likes to have fame and fortune, but, or fame and be recognized by fellow man, because we all have a bit of an ego, but you got to have more of a brain than an ego, or you'll never get off the rock. Your brain is your heart too. It's not just your brain, It's what's inside of you. It's what you feel that's good and evil. And if you don't use it to recognize it, and the evil ones are, you have to understand. And I'm not saying I never, because I try to give a pass for the Republicans and say, well, why is he going to Iraq? Bush, you got to give him maybe he knows more than we know. All right, boy, that was dumb. I'm glad I got out of that. Woof. So that means, so I made a mistake like that, and I'm eating my words now, but how many other mistakes are you making as you're going along? And so that's the way I look at it. I'm not cynical. Always. Not cynical, but I question it. It's called discernment. Take the gift of that God give us, and it's in the Holy Spirit, and you can discern. You can say, use it to figure out if somebody's lying to you or not. If somebody's sitting on their butt and they taking your money out of your pocket, which is your life and your time. That means you have to go work that much more. And let's say you got a dreary job in a factory and you watch this, you're fixing something, fix it, loading. I know I had one once. It was in a cubicle, like big, and these boxes would go by. We stack them in. That's how we stack them up. Furniture, stack them up. Just you couldn't see anything else. So it was this big room where there was like brown walls, and we constantly grabbing these cabinets or whatever it was and put them in there. That was all day long. I couldn't believe it. I'm glad I did it once because I would never do it again. I think I'd run in the woods or something, it couldn't, you do that for a profession, but right. So it wasn't. I'm not saying that that's a bad thing, but it is. It is. It's what's going on in China right now. So that you just have to picture that, and those are people. Those things that don't have to exist that way. Yeah, it's societal. Improvement because we all live really well. And even though I say I was stocking those boxes, I did it for 8 up, which is, it's just work. So, but yeah, you get numb, you just go, okay, fine, I get paid for it, numb, forget about it, hate it. It was a lesson. But then I got 16 hours of the rest of the day to do whatever I wanted. And I got paid for being miserable. So what? I'm going to work my way out of it. You can't say, yeah, it'd be nice if they could do something to make it better. But it's capitalism, and you can only do so much. And and if the government's taking part of that money from that, the company that owns it, and they can't really improve. They can't afford to. Capitalism's kind of that way, but it's just the way of the world. This is not heaven, so that's why communism doesn't work. The only growth in communism is they have to go out and steal from somebody else. That's it. Capitalism, it's bad, yeah, the guys who are doing this kind of work, you can work your way out of it. Communism, somebody else goes, yeah, you're gonna do this the rest of your life because you're too dumb. Because his sister or his brother or his cousin wants the job you wanted. But nepotism, you can get a way to work out of nepotism and capitalism. And it's just the way that it's a system that has its ugly side and its good side. Everything does. But the majority of it is not ugly. The majority of it, of communism, is on the surface. It looks like, oh yeah, well, everybody's going to share this. We don't have to go through that story, nobody, this is not heaven where everybody's good and everybody will work their share. No, you're humans. So you cannot pretend that communism and socialism is going to work. There's a few places, maybe there's a happy mix, and we get a lot of the happy mix. We got a lot of socialism in our life right now. And that's how we can keep changing in America. You can keep doing that. And we know it. We watched the movies of slaves, people going in and out in the arena in Rome and that didn't agree with the emperor, and get eaten by a tiger right in front of everybody. Or a lion, And they had no choice because it was a tyrannical society, right? You got tyrannical, aristocrat, capitalism, communism. There's not that many choices. And capitalism, it depends on trade with each other. And the only thing that screws up capitalism is if we don't follow the rule of law, which is gone now with this last election. Unbelievable. Well, it's always been there though. It's just now we get to see it. Like he said, this is something else. If you'd like to know these things, your Father in heaven said at the end times everything will be revealed. Now we know. They've been screwing us forever. Yeah, I guess I'm gonna quit right now. I can only take so much of this. I don't know who I'm making this for, because the people that probably need to hear it won't ever hear it. But I think I'm making it because the big guy's gonna get it to whoever he wants it to hear it. And it's weird because he cares for us. I mean, there's so much of life that like when I grew up, and everybody's fighting and nobody cares for everybody else. And they say they do, maybe, and eventually when you get a family, you just settle it. But you take the other guys in high school. There's assholes and bullies and everything. But that is probably life. So you kind of work your way through it. And you fight your way through it, and you learn to fight. So that's just life, I guess. I don't know what I'm going to get to the point of that is that it's not an easy road, and you've got you got to listen to your Creator. That's all there is to it, and Christ, the New Testament, he came, kicked all that the Old Testament out because there's a lot of it that mankind, I think, through the Diablo, because he's a picture of insanity. And I have no fear of him because Christ has always been with me. That's what I'm thankful for. So if he's been with me and he saves me from that kind of evil, which he did, he has a lot. I'll give you an example of an alien. One night we bought a house in 2 houses in Texas, and remodeling them to sell. I just got into that business because I started making money at it, and it was, kind of fun. So anyway, this is in the Great Plains, and I go out. Can't stay in the house a lot of the time, and I could have stayed with my grandmother or somebody, and don't want to impose a grandfather. Don't want to impose on them all the time. So I had a friend that has a ranch, I suppose about 26 miles out of town. And 26 miles in the Panhandle is a long way. There's nothing. I'm talking it's just grasslands, flat, fence post, barbed wire. And so that'll make you think worth twice about how the earth is made, because you can see all the way to the end on every side, which means you can see 30 miles at night. You can see the lights of town 30 miles away. We used to play a game called that. So we drive out, sit there 26 miles and stay in his ranch. Nice, unbelievably nice place. But he didn't I loved it, but he didn't want. He stayed in town most of the time, right? Nobody out there, so uh, he didn't even ask us to do anything. He's just a friend of the family, and so I stayed there. And so anyway, I worked on the house and went out there about working all day too, hard physical labor trying to get the houses done, and be tired, dead tired. So one night, and this was like after we'd stayed there about a week or something. One night about 2, 3 in the morning, I woke up. Boom! I never wake up really. At that age, you don't even have to go to the bathroom all night long. And what I woke up to was something telling me to go out into the corral. What? I'm thinking, just wait, what? Something telling me, yeah, you want to meet aliens? Come on out in the corral. Aren't you curious? And I'm thinking, yeah, I'm curious. Yeah, think of all those shows you saw, the Close Encounters of the Third Kind or something. Yeah, don't you want to come out and see aliens? And since, I'll tell you the difference. And I don't know if it's me or my choice, but I always had, for some reason, Christ, he kind of let me know that wasn't the right thing to do. I don't even know how. I mean, because I was definitely curious. At that age, yeah, well, you want to be, yeah, you want to see what the aliens are, get to the bottom of it and meet them. And, in the Close Encounters of the Third Kind, they were friendly people or friendly beings or whatever they were. So here they were in the corral. Inside, something telling you to go out into the corral, which is like you got to go out around the house and go out and way out behind like a shed paddock barn, and there's a corral totally by itself, totally away from there. Like there'd be nothing out there. This is like nothing. And all I could do is go out there and look, right? And then I could see aliens. I could be satisfy any curiosity. And it's one of these deals where you go, no, and there's no, if you're a believer, you know that you don't hear a voice telling you in your head of, don't go to this, don't do that, It's in your heart, I would say, that made me disinterested. Didn't make me. I felt, no, I got other things to do. I got to go back to sleep. I bet that pissed him off. They could have stolen one soul right there, easily. Literally, they can. They go from physical to their dimension, and that's what they're playing with right now. That's another part. This is so deep. That's what they're playing with. They're trying to invite these in. They're using their knowledge. There's 200 of them that came down a long time ago. They had to have the flood because they were screwing monkeys. They were screwing everything that was around, and creating all these what we thought was dinosaurs. We found some giant bones. I mean, giant jawbone, like this so much of the jawbone was this big. It was a big old boy. And I said, How come these are bones? Why aren't they just? I thought if they're this old, millions of years old, how can they still be bones? And I don't know. Somebody, my dad or somebody said, well, it there's a mineralization process, which is everybody's told. Science has all these answers. Most of the scientists are probably led by, think of all the technology that's come up. These old boys ain't that smart. I play soccer with rocket scientists. They think they're smart. They're not. Some of them are not nice people. Some of them are. A lot of them are. They're all about themselves. So anyway, that's neither here nor there. So I was asking why that's the case. Wouldn't they be totally deteriorated in something? But it's just like everything else. They come up with an answer. We caught them spraying the skies, clouding them up, and literally Brennan admitted it in one of their conferences, and they go, "Oh, see, there's proof." Yeah, they've been doing it for a long time. And what's in it? I don't know. Whatever's in it is making it geophysically fit for whatever society they're trying to create. They're zombies or something. Gives them more contact. I don't know. But everything's metal, man-made metal. And he told me something when I was a long time in college. He said, watch out for aluminum. I wasn't even, I always know him. There's a difference. You don't have to go to church. You have to commit yourself to him, believing in him, and believing that Christ is your Savior and the way out and the way to eternal life. And then once you do that, you'll be led, not forced, you'll be led to freedom, because you'll get every answer you ever thought of. Some you don't want. But that's all right. This is life. This is it. This is your test. I'm not the teacher and I'm not greater, but the God, your creator, is going to grade you someday. And if that's what he's doing, if he's trying to bring everybody to life, and here's Billy Bob Gates trying to eliminate the population, and when it's his turn to be judged, I want to be standing there and watching personally, because there's an individual that's so full of himself, so diabolical, that he'll put viruses in the computer so that he can backdoor them and start dumping your information and whatever they want out of it, until it gets to the point of it fails. I mean, that's what computer people have told me, that it's not really, there's no virus, some kid in the basement going in. It's Billy Bob. He put it in your computer, and then it became an industry. Oh, hey, look at this. We're backdooring your computer, so we can make it better. Maybe it started out that way, but you got somebody that's money hungry and an ugly four-eyed weasel like Billy Bob Gates, who couldn't begin to stand up in a man's fight. So but no, he's got to be evil. So he has this way of tracking the computers. Okay, well, we got to fix this, got to fix that. Well, then now, hey, look, we're finding out this, so let's use this, let's use this. Suddenly they're grabbing so much information that if your computer fails, I got a virus. You never had a virus. They use too much of your and it brain farted. The computer doesn't have an endless amount of ones and zeros. So they got to go in and clean all that up. Then eventually became antivirus business, and so nobody's going to admit everything. People that know how to go in deep into the computer can go have found very interesting messages in them, but we'll never see. I don't care to see anyway. I really don't care. You create something good, and then you got some asshole that makes it worse. So you're going to trust this old boy to cure something medical. Think about what his practice was with when he was in his own business that he had. And he was ruthless. That's why he's successful. He's in a fledgling industry that could have been a great thing for humans. But we're not worried about it too much, I mean, that's business. That's the way it is. If he beats up his competition, well, that's what the government is for, is the rule of law. And if he didn't do anything illegal, then there's nothing you can do, and it's too late. So that's so that they pass the laws after they don't pass laws beforehand. They pass laws after somebody screwed somebody, and then what good does that do? Just pay them. Anyway, I'm gonna drop off here. I guess the only message I've got for you is just probably the same as everybody else. You've been lied to the whole time. For a long time. And you don't believe it, that's fine. All I'm supposed to do is tell you. There's a liar out there, and that's just stock in trade, as the devil is lying. Good grief. And I guess that's if you were a weakling, or you were power hungry, and you didn't care how you got it, well, you'd be lying, and it wouldn't bother you. The ends, And now and anytime you've got people buying into that, well, they ruined America. And they're all of them. You can, who knows if Trump, who knows whether he's honest or not, I doubt it. I knew he was going to get elected. I knew he wouldn't. I had a weird feeling, foretold of this one is, he was going to have a lot more votes but he wasn't going to serve as president. And then I don't know, it sounds like he might come back, but I don't know what capacity. So I don't know why, just trying to give you some warning, because all these guys are all liars. Yeah. If it comes back, it works out fine. But in the meantime, don't buy anything they're telling you. Ask Christ to save you, and then he will give you the answers of what's true and not true. You'll find out. And and anything you want to know, he'll tell you. Not directly. If you're so foolish, you think that, if you're so foolish, you're always going to speak. Really. So, you'll find out, he'll give you an answer in a book. Somebody else will come on YouTube and tell you what's what about that question you were thinking about. That's pretty wild. Anytime I have a question, I mean, just like this Nephilim deal, I wondered how something happened and I got the answer, and I'll tell you something else. Here's a wild one. I don't know if you got this on the other video. I was about explaining to somebody about the initiation in secret societies and what you have to go through. Because there's a lot of people that I know that have no idea, and I try to, and I say something. That's why when you make a video and they go, what? Because it's almost like a different language. If you've been doing this for 20, 30 years, it's a different language. They don't understand, and so you got to. So I was explaining to them about initiations and what happens and and I was kind of going through it, and then. At some point, they ask you to spit on the Bible, and if you don't do it, they go, "Oh, good decision. You did good. It was a good test for you." But you never go up. If you spit on the Bible, you're moving up, right? And then at that point, will start revealing to you the exact opposite of what the Bible says. Yeah. They will tell you that Diablo went to the garden to save us. And so then what I was doing is always like pretending it was what an ego he has and how he was fighting off these angels and just having sex with Eve. Really? And that, it's like he was bragging about this, and this is in the initiation they're telling you about, and how he was actually doing his best to save us, and evil God sent down angels to fight him off, but he managed to have sex with her, and he got Cain, but he got locked out of heaven, out of full heaven. So what I heard next was, well, how did so they had the flood to get rid of all these Nephilim children. Reality is what happened there. It wasn't that it stopped after the flood totally. Because before the flood, there was like these giant, talking huge, because these 200 angels were having a heyday, having sex with anything they could and putting their genes. They were just like, make this earth mine. So he rubbed them all out. He didn't rub them out because they're angels, but he rubbed all their children out. And being they're children of angels, they have a partial eternal life. But it's not the same, and they're never fulfilled. They're never complete, and they didn't live forever. Or they just kind of they managed the more they can make people suffer, the more they come to life. That's just the way they're when they're that evil. That's happens to be their food. So if they make you suffer, they make children suffer, they take over. That's there's so much to this that it's hard for me to explain. But I just want to tell you this is what I had wondered, how the Nephilim could exist after the flood. And I was told, well, you remember the story of two of the sons found Noah naked, and we're all basically in our nomenclature today freaked out. And another son came and covered him up. And just like Genesis 6, when they talking about how they had came down and bred with them, created all these, the fallen angels did, when they were sent down to watch man, and they watched a little too closely, watched women too much, what they did. And they would never go back either. Well, he said what he did was it wasn't just 2 by 2 animals. There was 2, and then there was like 7 for the food. And what happened was, as the floods were receding, there was in the darkness of the boat some fermented drink or something after this long period of time. And Noah was drunk, on whether it was on purpose, but what they saw was him having sex with a goat. So that's why it was a big deal. I think what was a big deal about they're seeing their father naked. Well, they have different ways of talking back then. And Diablo was so proud of how he tricked Noah. That goat, because of the being a like a Nephilim offspring, or of the one of the angels, the female side this time, was able to have another baby. And I think that's what's going on today. That's still. And today they must be able to control the DNA or something, because apparently they all look like humans. But they're, maybe they're half goat and half scaly, feathered skinned devil. And apparently that's how they came to exist after the flood. So anyway, that's what I was led. I don't know whether it was a dream or what. I just was in the middle of telling that, and then this was what I heard. It was as if Diablo was actually bragging about it. And yeah, that's how I don't need to do, because he's nothing but a liar. What a weird story to tell, but I never heard it before. Anyway, when you get freed up, you'll ask questions like that and you'll get some answers that you could imagine what anybody'd say. If you'll get some answers. So I've never heard that one before. And I don't come up with very good stories, but so anyway, I'm gonna cut. I don't know who this is for, but if it's somebody that has no belief in being your creator, better check again, because it's getting near the end. I think you have to throw that in there, because we don't know, but I just like everything else, when you start finding out that all these things come true that you knew, that you're told, then they just pass a warning on, because he loves you. He loves his children. And I'm sure that the Nephilim children will hear this anyway. But all of his good children, the thing to remember, and this is what he revealed to me too, sorry, I'm going to finish now. The thing he remembered is, to remember is, when we did choose to eat from the garden and the tree of knowledge of good and evil, you have to remember, this is the thing is, and because I'm pointing it out, is, and maybe it's what will save you, but you got to catch up, is it's not the tree of good and evil, it's the tree of knowledge of good and evil. you have to understand those evil ones. You have to put yourself in their position. What would they do? They're so evil. What would they do? And that's what they're doing. So that's the biggest part of any of it, is if you understand that it's the knowledge. You have to place yourself. For instance, just pretend that you were. And most of it, everybody, I just don't know anybody like that. I can see them though, because I don't care to know. I don't know. They're around me. I don't want to waste my time with them, but they're there, right? And they are so lost in their own ego and weakness and hilarious ugliness, controlled by you know who. What are they going to gain? I don't know. But anyway, that's for another section. But right now, I just want to finish by saying, when you ask him to come in your life, you're going to be told these things. You're going to find out. You can find enough to save yourself. If not, you don't. This is not about. You don't have to do. When you do ask him to take over your life, and this is exactly the opposite of what the occult, witches, and all those. They say that, well, no, devil was trying to save. Satan came to earth to save you, to give you knowledge. Everything he does is evil and trickery. How can that be? And if you buy into that, go ahead. But I told you where you're going to end up if you do. So that's all I got to say. I mean, I sound like I don't know how. I'm just telling what I hear. And I do it because I'm thankful for having been here. Otherwise, what's the point? You just knuckle under, or whatever they say, and you don't admit that you believe in good rather than evil. Yeah, there's a lot of the things that these things they've created to make our life easier, but what difference does it make? If it's easier but it's more evil, I'll go chop firewood all day long. It's the same thing. You're just in a different time zone, and we don't believe anything they tell you. Yeah, you can use their stuff. You have to, because it's just like having a gun. If the bad guy's got a gun and you ain't got one because it's not good to have a gun, that's silly. Okay, I'm gonna go. I gotta go. All right. I hope it did some good somewhere. I don't know, someday. I know he loves you, whether you deserve it or not. Same as me. Bye.